So, most Americans are almost always looking for shortcuts for self improvement and are almost literally never willing to put in any work. You see this in weight loss supplements, you see this in college students using AI generative writing to write their papers, and you'll also see this on pseudoscience on the cover of magazines that proclaim you can see results overnight. An example of this shortcut is that I used to play brain games on my phone to become smarter, but I never really felt like it worked, never really felt like it did anything, and while also at the same time, it was pretty counterintuitive to be on my phone playing a game and I was getting smarter. So ultimately, I felt like none of those things really did anything for me. To prove my case, a Harvard journal concluded that these brain games have no direct impact on cognitive ability and or skill. So ultimately, these types of shortcuts that we see every day in American lives don't really do much for you. They're all just snake oils and a bunch of hoaxes. So while previously mentioned, shortcuts are usually not the best way to do things. It's best to do things through long, hard work. However, reading can be utilized as a shortcut because it can be used as a piece of leisurely activity that doesn't necessarily require work. So all the benefits that you're going to gain from reading can be done leisurely. So overall, the benefits of reading allow people to succeed in their interpersonal lives and helps to strengthen their most important organ, the brain. The benefits of reading far outweigh any other leisurely activity because of what is gained through reading. Reading helps improve memory, it builds better communication skills, and it allows for a deeper empathy for people. So, firstly, your working memory and your episodic memory get a workout when one decides to read. That's the part of your brain that is responsible for attention and keeping stories linear. So ultimately, when you are reading, you're practicing or you're conditioning these muscles. So recently, the Beckman Institute concluded a research that they took a group of individuals and they had them read for 90 minutes, 5 days a week for 2 months. And ultimately, they took tests before they began this experiment and after, and they found that by reading this often, they gained better retention skills and better cognition skills. And I truly believe that anyone can benefit from a better retention. It allows us to learn information faster, we can gain skills better, and it allows us to succeed in our interpersonal and professional lives. Another powerful benefit of reading is that your etiquette and your communication skills will greatly thrive by reading more. When you open a piece of literature, you are encountering different dialogues, which helps you better understand normalcy and what is considered normal in a society to speak to each other. So encountering different types of dialogue really helps you with your conversation skills and able to talk to other people, whether that be professionally, to a friend, to an old friend, to family, etc. While also vocabulary is also being developed when you're reading. When you're reading a story, you may encounter words that you don't know, and not necessarily that you have to look up those words per se, but usually by the context clues of the sentence, you can usually pick up on what the word is or get an idea of it, or for the curious people, they may look it up and have a new word in their schema. So according to an article by Cargie Mart, he finds that reading more allows for a better communication because of an increased vocabulary. So like I said earlier, this kind of just proves my point of how the more that you read, you're encountering new words, you're encountering new things, different scenery, different imagery, and it allows you to be more on the creative side and learn different vocabulary words. To which lastly, I will discuss the effects that reading can directly impact your emotional intelligence and greatly increase your empathy for others and the people around you. And when encountering a piece of fiction, you can often feel what other characters are feeling when you're reading. Through vivid imagery and figurative language, you're able to really feel and see how characters are feeling. And I've even read books where I've cried, or I've gotten scared, or I've laughed, because books are so powerful in the way that through the language used, they can really make you feel things. So according to Jason Paquet's article on the relationship between reading and empathy, he concludes that greater empathy is present when one has experienced situations they have already been in. So essentially, the more literature that you expose yourself to, and the different stories that you see, and the different characters' shoes that you enter, you're able to, in the real world, you're able to have greater empathy for others, and you're able to really feel what they're feeling and be there for them. So overall, reading helps people in a variety of ways when it comes to improving retention and memory, which I know all of us college students could definitely benefit from having better memory, pulling all-nighters and things. Just open a book, read a little bit more. Second thing, in having better communication skills, being able to present yourself in a way that you want to be, whether that be professionally, in a friendly way, whatever you want. But when you have a greater vocabulary, you have more room to work with. And finally, also, you can have greater empathy for people that you care about, which we all want to be good people in this world. And to finally conclude, can you imagine what the world would look like if we all spent more time reading?